like the Happy Cajun or some such like that. But
yeah, my husband liked his show.
I did too. Yeah, it was. I've got 2 of his cookbooks because he's got some great recipes. One of my favorites is this Italian meatloaf that he makes. With the Creole guy makes Italian meatloaf. But it's like a specially spiced burger, and it's rolled up over cheese and sauce, and the whole thing's done up in a, you fold it, you roll it flat with the spiced stuff, the spiced meat. You roll it flat, and then you paint it with cheese and sauce, and then you roll that whole thing up and stick it in the oven. And it's.
I have no idea what you'd pair with that.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Something
Probably
pretty strong. You'd have
braggot,
to go.
Maybe. They'd probably go good with a nice strong braggot.
Or a really
strong,
chewy red or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, one of the things I like...
Nothing light, nothing dry at that point. You definitely want something pretty heavy with it.
Yeah, one of the...
spiced methanol, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, methylene would probably work with that. I don't know. Maybe. Like a rosemary methylene.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Yeah, actually, one of the things I like doing with meads is poaching fruit in it. And that way you definitely still get a lot of the mead character in it.
Absolutely. With the poaching, too, you're cooking at a lower temperature. A lot of times, after a long shift, I just want to cook as quickly as possible. So I even though I know I'm shooting, a lot of times I make the mistake of just leaving it on high, and then I end up, overcooking or cooking it out too much.
Yeah, I don't know. I've found I haven't gotten super adventurous, but I like I'll play with it in sauces, and I make when I've got since I've got so many berry meads around here, when I make like gravy and stuff, I'll actually put like a red mead into the gravy to help flavor it. I've gotten some really good feedback on those. Some work, some not so much. It depends on the mead.
Yes, absolutely. It was a lot of times when I have to explain to people when they're going to get cooking wine or something, they'll come back with some cheap bottle, and it's the same thing with mead and everything else, is that whatever you're cooking with, you want to make sure that you would drink it. Not that I generally keep around any meads that I wouldn't drink.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I do have some that I wouldn't drink that I will put in the gravy or in the as cooking liquid in the crock pot with the roast, and that works okay.
Yeah, and I've got some that they're like half bottles that have been sitting in the fridge for a while that I haven't gotten around to finishing, and those will end up in the food because they're a little too oxidized for me to be completely happy drinking them. But that oxidation doesn't seem to come through when you cook with it. Or
it complements the cooking.
Or it complements the cooking. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, so that's actually how I don't waste mead that I liked, but that I haven't drunk all of, and now I waited too long and can't drink it.
So do you have you got a favorite yeast?
Yeah.
Or do you choose
my favorite yeast.
What is that noise?
Sorry, I think that's my phone. It was just getting I think somebody was probably just messaging me that they were listening to me or something because I was telling a few people about it earlier.
Oh, okay. You're getting messaged. Okay, I get you. It's like there's this hooting noise. Is there like a bird on the line? What?
No, I think it was just my phone vibrating. But sorry, what did you ask me? I just got.
About yeast. If you have a go-to yeast.
Lavalin D47 is the one that I've used for a long time. I've played around with a few other ones, but I just get the most predictability from it, and I think it really, just about with anything that I use it in, it really never really disappoints me. It's just my standard workhorse.
Do you have any temperature control issues, or have you got that pretty well in hand? Because a lot of people find that it throws a lot of fusels if you can't keep it cool enough.
Well, being from New England, I generally don't have an issue with cool.
Fair enough.
I do most of my brewing in my basement, and my basement doesn't generally get above 70 degrees. It takes, we do get some heat streaks up here, and we saw 100, 105, I think, this summer. And even with that, I just have it down in my cellar, and it's, like I said, I think the warmest it ever got down there was about 75 degrees. So I don't usually have too many temperature problems with it.
Another question Manny always wants to ask is if you've ever tried any experiments with blending of yeast.
No, I haven't. Like I said, I'm kind of I don't want to say hands off, but I really like to just, get something done and then kind of let it go. I haven't really done much consideration into blending of yeast, but I could see how that could work. I would just be afraid that with my luck, I would end up, one of them would just really overpower the other for some reason. But I could see another thing. I mean, it seems at this point I have a long list of things to try out. I guess we have to start doing more than a couple of months.
Yeah, I think all of us have really long to brew lists at this point.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and just keep
I
getting longer. I have to schedule my next one. I have a girlfriend who wants to learn.
Have you got any plans to do yeast testing to make sure that whatever you're doing for a given batch that you're planning on repeating is going to be the yeast that works best with it?
That's something that I could definitely consider, but I think that I've always been one of those people that, if it works, I don't generally try and reinvent the wheel. I understand that there could be better options out there, but I think that at the beginning stages, I'm going to kind of just get everything out and working, and then maybe in a year or 2 years, when I start to have a little bit more time to start researching and seeing if I can find ways to improve the products.
What do you plan on? How big are you going to open? I mean, do you have what you want to hit in terms of your volume?
I'm looking to do the first month. I wanted to get. I'm hoping to get 300 gallons the first month, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to hit that. And then from there, I may scale back to 200 the second month and try and hold at that. The reason I want to go so high the first month is that the facility I'm going to be sharing is because he's doing rye whiskey and gin and a few other spirits. He's going to have a barrel aging room.
Ooh,
so
nice.
The first month I want to get really heavy and get some of the meads just aging as soon as I can, so that I can, a year from, 2 years from, I could start releasing some barrel aged meads.
Nice. So you're sharing the space with a distillery, and you said a brewery, right?
A brewery as well, yes.
How does that work? And I mean that's really cool, but I don't think every state allows that. Connecticut must be. You're in Connecticut, right?
Yeah, I am in Connecticut.
Yeah, Connecticut's
I think
different.
I'm my partner is a lawyer, so I don't generally tend to question him.
Yeah.
He's generally on he knows way more than I do, and it just doesn't really usually it doesn't serve me much good to question anything because he's already got it covered, or he already knows the workaround to it. I think at this point the way that he's as far as my understanding is that the way we're separate buildings. It is all one building, but the way that the walls and the zoning goes, we're technically not all one open air building.
Okay.
So I think that's the workaround to it. I don't want to say workaround, but that's the reasoning for it.
Of it, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the way it works here too. You have to have separate entrances and exits from the building.
Yeah.
And the brewing areas need to be walled off from each other.
Yeah, I remember reading something about that somebody else had posted. So yeah, that makes sense then. You guys get to share a tasting room, or does it have to all be separate as well?
As far as I know at this point, we're still in the construction and zoning and licensing phase right now. So as far as I know, we're going to be sharing the same tasting room. I don't know if I'm going to end up pouring from bottles or if I'm going to be able to carbonate, and I'd like to be able to carbonate and just be able to pour from the taps, but we'll see what I end up having to, whatever route I have to go.
Yeah.
By the law is what I'll have to do.
That's really cool, though, because that's going to give you. Are these other two, the brewery and the distillery, are they new too, or are they already established businesses?
They're both starting up. They're both.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be all three of us brand new. Launching hopefully within a little while of each other, and just to be able to draw in the like I said, the crowds of different people, it's more so going to benefit me than them, I'd imagine. But I'm definitely excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's a really neat model. I mean, because people are gonna come and they're gonna, so if some guy comes with his girlfriend and she likes beer but he likes mead, then you got
win-win situation.
Right? Yeah, you've got it covered. There was a place in Massachusetts that I went, and I, for the life of me, can't remember the name of the winery, but it was a similar situation, and they produce beer, wine, mead, and spirits, and it was hilarious. Their tasting bar was like 65, 70 feet long. It was this big curving thing that went, like on forever. And it took 3 of us to sample everything, because if anybody had tried to do all of them, you wouldn't have, you not only wouldn't have been walking, you wouldn't have been conscious, So, in fact, you probably would have been in the back of an ambulance on your way to the hospital. So, but they had some amazing stuff, and it was just really cool, because that was the first time I had been in a place that had everything. They may have even had ciders probably at the time too, and if they didn't then, I'm sure they do now. But yeah, they kind of had the whole gamut covered, which was kind of cool. Yeah,
that's definitely something that we're looking to promote. And there's definitely a lot of breweries everywhere, and even Connecticut, there's a lot of them popping up. But there's, like I said, I believe one other meadery, but he's rather small, and I don't think he has much distribution. And as far as the distilleries go, I know there's a few places, and my partner's working on starting up a distillery guild, or I think is what he's calling it, to help kind of cross promote. And I think at that point, everyone's going to have, a small shelf in their store with the different products. And I think he's also talking about getting me in on that as well, so that these places will have a bottle or 2 of my mead there to help really. As I'm sure you're aware, in a lot of places, there's just not an ignorance, but just people don't know what mead is if they've ever heard the word. It's on Game of Thrones or Vikings or some medieval show, and that's really all that they ever know. A lot of people couldn't even tell you what it is, other than something that people drink.
Yeah, well, and do you guys have to go through a distributor to get it anywhere, or can you go direct to like the restaurants and stores?
I think that I'm going to be able to sell to stores. I don't know about. I think restaurants, we have to go through the distributors. There's a lot of different rules in Connecticut. The alcohol is one of the highly regulated things here. So
yeah, well, I mean that's true for.
It could change by the time. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of blue laws that are still on the books, and we only started being able to sell alcohol on Sundays about 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow.
I'm assuming you're familiar with Michael Fairbrother at Moonlight, right?
Absolutely. I went up and visited him last year, and I was. That's definitely something that a goal of mine in the future is to be able to have the amount of products that he has for sale.
Well, and he's also gotten really good. Him and Sergio Mutella at Melavino are both heavily involved in getting the regulations changed in their states to be more conducive to mead, because a lot of the laws, the way they're set up, tend to slap mead harder than everything else. So they're getting some stuff accomplished. It wouldn't hurt to get up with them. Guess we'll have to have
absolutely.
Getting legislative stuff in your state changed.
Oh God!
Call at some point for new meaderies. I can hear all the new meaderies out there going, yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Hang on, one of my dogs just climbed in my lap and got all tangled up in my headset cord. Rocket's got long legs. He's built like a miniature greyhound, so his legs go on forever. And when he climbs in your lap, he makes his legs go in like 6 different directions, and it's weird. And no matter what, if there's a cord nearby, he gets all wrapped up in it, guaranteed.
You haven't seen Funny till you've seen a bunny get tangled in a cord. Then he has these impotent little temper tantrums trying to get himself free. It's so funny.
That's the stuff that's going up on the bunny cam, right?
No, it's always too dark when he's doing that.
Oh. That's so funny. So, are you